I'm Tyler Young,
I'm Abbie Hyche.
and we have with us kaleidoscopic deLight.
What we have here is totally beyond anything that we could have initially conceived.
The main early realization was seeing that a kaleidoscope is just a prism that's reflecting inwards, and that it could be triangular, rectangular, or whatever, and that it's a fairly simple concept that generates really interesting results. And so started with taking three full-length mirrors from just like a big box hardware store and leaning them together. Seeing it at that scale, like my friend's daughter he was there with his kids and she like poked her head in, and it's just kind of like this moment of like, oh, so that's all that there is to this, in a sense, to get going.
Tyler had this concept of a large glowworm, so it looked like a big skeleton, basically. And then the backdrop was actually built into the piece, so kind of like this spine. And then we wrapped the back with tracing paper and put little lights on the inside, so it actually glowed as well with the color changing lights and everything going on. But we didn't have the projection element at first. It was like a visual massage, we joked. And that's still a really fun way to approach it. It's interesting because when we try to explain it or talk about kind of the concepts that are happening, play comes up a lot, and kind of the experience of awe. And that's not something that, like, when you first have that idea, it's not like, oh, it's going to be all these things, and then it's like exactly all those things. It's kind of cool how you start doing something, and then in the process we learned about like the Institute of Play and how important it is, and that became a focus for us through the process.
Yeah, it was fun to see how it changed the way I looked at just like objects I might encounter around the house or at work or whatnot. It's like, oh, this has interesting texture or plays with light in a way, and the kind of aperture of it's only that large, so you don't need very large objects to create this entire field of vision. And how that started to change the way I looked at things around me when I was like working on this and had it on my mind. It would be like, oh, aluminum foil, like, or cheesecloth, or whatever. And so that kind of, again, playful aspect and altering the way you relate to things like materially or like, I guess, sensually. And two, having a piece that people looked at and they like smiled and laughed and like had fun with, and seeing how that is like an artistic experience that nothing I had worked on previously had really generated that response, and how it, anyone from like a small child to like some like, uptight kind of businessman might encounter it and like kind of be skeptical and then like walk away like laughing, and just watching people interact with it and stuff was a really satisfying experience.